There's a lot of things that I could talk about right now. It's been a while since I talked about anything, but so much stuff has happened. I could talk about Netflix and what they're trying to do with WB and everyone else trying to get in on the action. I could. I could talk about The Witcher new season. Saw that piece of crap, and the movie that is a prequel movie. Oh boy, got a whole video coming in the works for that, so get ready for that one. I could talk about what's happening with Crunchyroll. Lord knows I like anime, and Lord knows anime don't like me. Woo! I could talk about the Star Trek show. I could talk about that spinoff Doctor Who show. Just a bunch of gay shit that's happening right now. I could talk about all that stuff. But I could even talk about the new Five Nights at Freddy's. I didn't finish it, but I did see things. I saw some things. But I decided, and you decided since clicking on this video, that I'm going to talk about Mark Wahlberg's new movie. I'm about to say Mark Wahlberg's new movie, Family Plan 2. The goddamn sequel to Family Plan. Did you watch Family Plan? The first one? I'm pretty sure you didn't. No one did. But I did. And I also saw the sequel. Why? I don't know. I thought that they would have learned some type of lesson and did good. I was horribly, horribly mistaken. Now, first things first, I'm gonna let you know, Mark Wahlberg was fine in this movie. He wasn't bad at all. He did the damn thing. Honestly, it was very much similar to the first movie where everything centered around him, and god damn it, it works. It so much works. Any scene where he wasn't the main attraction or taking center stage was basically wasted and pointless and ultimately dumb. Also, Jon Snow's in this movie for some reason. But other than that, let's break down the movie real quick. So Family Plan 2 starts up a little bit after the first one, where now everyone's kind of comfortable back in being a typical atypical Hollywood version of what a suburban family is supposed to be. There's nothing to worry about. Of course there isn't. And for some reason, Mark Wahlberg's company, where I believe that in the first movie he was supposedly a used car salesman, now in this movie he works at a security firm, or he owns a security company that's like a consultant and whatnot. So sure, I guess, I guess, sure, whatever. But everything from the movies just starts off kind of weird and wonky. It begins by getting rid of his dad, and in doing so, sets off a chain of events that lead him to basically kind of come back to this old life or whatever. It generated essentially a nice little soft touch, as it had him wanting to spend Christmas with his family. Everyone's getting older and the family's starting to go the wrong way. The son essentially learning how to drive, and he's doing his own thing. For whatever reason, they made him a hacker now rather than a gamer. It was kind of changing up a lot of things for characters in order to try and circumvent them having a personality, because they didn't have one in the first movie. They were just like typical kids. So now in this one, it was like, no, let's have them be about something. And it's like, yeah, but it doesn't work because they're not about anything. So anyway, it's not anything that was integral to them in the first movie. So now having it is just weird. So anyway, he wants to spend time with his family. His daughter's gone in college, and she's like in London and whatever. And then he just wants to spend time with his family for Christmas. So then he decides that he's going to actually take a business deal where he had to do consulting for a bank in London. And he was like, perfect opportunity. I'll just bring in the whole family. We'll mark it up as a business expense. We'll visit the daughter, and then we'll all be together for Christmas. Yay! Happiness all around. Well, the drama comes in the fact that apparently the mom got a job offer to work for a college somewhere as a fitness coach, like a track and field coach. It's like the college in Ohio or whatever. And that's supposedly, a subplot going on. It doesn't matter, but it's supposedly going on. They got to make the wife, appealing, because in the first movie, her thing was that she was bored. Because that's what they always do. They're bored. You're a suburban housewife with all her needs met, working a job that you really ain't, that's not too strenuous or matters, and you're just you see your husband who's providing, loving, caring, and Mark fucking Wahlberg, and you get bored because, you know, you're stupid. But that's the issue of the first movie. This movie, she essentially was like, I want to take this job doing this thing that was never integral to my character in the first one. I was basically like a yoga or a massage therapist or something like that, but I did track. So now it's like, I got a job offer to be a coach. Sure you did. But everything about Mark Wahlberg was that he loved the family and the place where he lived at and all that stuff because he couldn't stand where he came from, because where he came from was filled with misery, woe, horribleness, and murder, as his father made him kill people. So we're gonna uproot you from that because I have decided that this is really important for me. Not to mention that he also had a very well and profitable business where he was now a security consultant. So even if you sit there and go, well, he could just lift up his roots and move his business somewhere else, the motherfucker had employees that liked him, apparently. People who he knew. The place where they lived at was a place that he liked. Everything about what they were things he liked because it was so far away from what he was used to and what it is that he remembered in that horrible backstory of his of being a maid trained assassin. So the idea of having a subplot of the mom being like, well, I want to coach, and that actually matter to anyone is ridiculous, or that it even should even like be brought up, especially when nothing came from it. It literally is not mentioned again except for when she's talking to the daughter, and then it just comes up in passing at the very end of the movie, and it's like, oh, okay, well, happy endings for all. Stupid, really stupid. But I'm not even talking about the movie, just other things that bother me. So anyway, he goes to visit the daughter. The daughter's sleeping with this dude that's way out of her fucking league. Let's be clear on that. Dude's way out of her fucking league. And so that's like, more person to the family. And so kind of have to shy away from the fact that Mark Wahlberg as a dad wouldn't immediately be pissed about the fact that where it's like, you know, we're paying all this money for you to be up here. You're fucking around with a guy. You didn't want to come home. You got all these things, and apparently you care about the environment and whatnot, but whatever, you know, just whatever. And from there, you then have him working his consultant job, where when he's doing a consultant job at the bank, he then finds out that he actually has a brother, a half-brother, someone that he didn't know was his brother, and that brother actually wants the legacy that their dad left behind since he passed away in prison. So what he wants is to become an assassin, this super duper assassin, and all the stuff that comes with it, and then in doing so get revenge on Mark Wahlberg, who ultimately is like, I don't give a fuck. I never gave a fuck. Honestly, you could have taken this all on your own and I wouldn't have known, cared, or it even mattered, but you did what you did, and now you're coming after me. Very stupid, if I might add, in terms of like a revenge concept, considering the fact that Mark Wahlberg was just like, I don't want this. It's like there's nothing here. But fantastic because of the fact that Mark Wahlberg's character, him being someone that's like, he was actually willing to talk to Jon Snow. Oh yeah, Jon Snow was the brother, by the way. But he was willing to actually have a discussion, sit down, and powwow with him, where it was just ultimately him being like, I don't really care about you taking over whatever it is that our dad did, but honestly, there's more to life than just following that psycho's footsteps. And you shouldn't want to. And I get that you had a rough life growing up, but hey, it's better than how I actually grew up. But I wish I knew you were my brother, because best believe I would have treated you like a brother. Mark Wahlberg is an angel in this damn movie. He is the most understanding, reasonable, and logical character in this entire goddamn movie, and it's so ridiculous that the entire movie tries to undermine that as if it's a weakness. He is so respectful, he is nice, he's caring, he's kind, even in the concept of where, hey, there's a guy who just revealed himself to me as my half-brother, and he's using my father's infrastructure and money to try and get revenge on me. I want to protect my family. The family does everything they can to try to make that his fault, where none of the factors at hand were anything that Mark Wahlberg could have tackled or dealt with. None of that was in it was in his control. But best believe they sure as hell make sure that he knows that. And then even though he's the only one that's capable of keeping them safe, they continue to undermine, talk down, and belittle him every chance that they get. If he's not this trained killer that you desperately need right now because you're being chased by trained killers. Very stupid. Incredibly stupid. And you just hate it all the way through. So hilarity ensues, wackiness, abundance, and then eventually they're able to pull the old 1-2 skadoosh on the half brother. They save the day. Also, the guy sleeping with the sister happened to matter for some reason. I thought it was really kind of pathetic because they had a crowd of eco-protesters standing outside of a building as a distraction or whatever, and because the daughter was actually really into helping the environment and whatnot, something that was never mentioned in the first movie, but now in the second one it's all she's about. And for some reason I thought it was hilarious in the fact that she brought up how Mark Wahlberg would think that her dreams are silly or pointless and really don't matter. And then he was like, I've never said that. I've known you're someone who wants to do something, and if that's what you want, then that's fine. I'll support it because you're my daughter and I love you. And he's a sweetheart in this movie. But again, her thought and idea was immediately that my dad thinks negative about this rather than actually talking to him about this. Yeah, such a smart girl right there. But again, I find it hilarious that to mention and talk about how something isn't pointless, useless, or dumb, and then you basically are able to round up almost a mob of people that just happen to not be doing anything on one random afternoon, just so they could come around and rally and scream and shout in front of a building without anyone questioning whether or not the severity or the reason or logic behind why they would do such a thing. They're just protesting for the sake of protesting. Did it change anything? Did it do anything? No. But this mob was able to get together at almost on super short notice, and they just came out to protest because why not? They just could. It's like, what better way to showcase it? Like, yeah, these people got nothing else going on. It's like, how is this showcasing that they're going to change the world? They just gathered in mass for nothing. And it's like, it was used as a distraction. So you can't even say that it was for an actual good or important cause. They're used as a distraction. It was like, so nothing. It's like, so yeah, they are useless. It's just so stupid. But it's like, oh no, this is to facilitate that the daughter is actually about something. More so to the plot, the son being a hacker was used later because sure. First movie, he was a gamer. Second movie, he's a hacker. So then the second movie, they actually have him hack something. But he's able to hack something enough to where he's able to break in, but not well enough to where, he can do it from like a remote location, or he doesn't really need that much access or any type of pliable stuff, because the technology that was used that he's able to hack would technically be older technology since it's always constantly advancing. But since he's doing it now, there's limitations to it because it's such a highly advanced system, and I can only be in there for so long before blah, 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 blah. Whatever, that's not how hacking or computers or technology works. But this movie was obviously written by a 3-year-old. Also, so yeah, in the end, again, Mark Wahlberg's able to take down Jon Snow. He goes to jail. Mark Wahlberg's family is happy. The wife tells him that she wants to take the Ohio job without, again, consulting her husband. And then since everyone else in this movie is a piece of shit and Mark Wahlberg is the goddamn angel, he immediately was like, oh, I'm so proud of you. Yeah, that's fine. You should definitely take that job. And so they're going to move. Completely, again, undermining everything that they built up about his character in the first and second movie about how much he loves where he is and then the foundation of a family unit that he built in where they stay. Like, they live in Buffalo. So it's like everything about where they are is what he loved and aspired to have. And then all of that just got uprooted by this movie, and by the end of this movie, because fuck him. For some reason, whoever wrote this movie clearly has father issues, and I do not like it, because again, I'm watching this movie and I'm just thinking, wow, he's a great dad. Just everyone else is a piece of shit. I mean, hell, even the idea of him coming up with the plan to go into London, the mom made it seem as if it was such a weird thing that was like out of place and out of their way to do, where she had nothing to contribute to it. He was going to pay for everything by marking it up as a business expense. He was gonna take the family out so that they all would be together for Christmas because he really wanted to. It's not as if this impeded with the bitch's job. She don't fucking do anything. So again, very stupid, very stupid. And also, this is something that kind of coincides with if you ever seen, it's like different TV shows do shit like this, but I remember fondly from How I Met Your Mother, where if someone you know is saying that they're doing something that's considered like a part of their dream or a dream job or anything like that, but they go out of their way to apply to something that's like out of their way, then they have misgivings about you and your relationship, because that in itself is fucking ridiculous. I mean, and you could chalk this up to me just kind of being paranoid or whatnot, but it's like, let's be real. If a woman sits there and says that I took a job going all the way out here and I really want this job, and so you have to move and come with me, that's a fucking test, dude. That's a test on the severity of their relationship, because she needs to know that you are willing to uproot your life and get rid of everything you hold dear just to facilitate whatever it is that she got going on. We don't know how good of a track coach she is. We don't know exactly how long this contract is going to be, or even if they care to keep her for long term. We don't know anything outside of the fact where she was just like, she was offered the job. So again, it's like, well, there's no universities in your area, and then it's a college. It was for a college track. So again, it's like, there's no colleges in the area that you can go to, somewhere that's fucking closer, anything like that. Did you really have to go all the way to fucking Ohio in order for that to be something? And it was like, this is the first time I'm ever hearing it. And then again, you applied to the job and are willing to take the job without ever consulting me. Isn't that the main thing you always hear in shows and TVs and things like that? You didn't even talk to me about this first. And it's like, again, bitch applied to the job. She got the job, but she already applied the thing without consulting Mark Wahlberg at all. So your husband had no idea you were willing to move in order to get a job, and then sit there and go off of the heels of, well, it's my dream. It's my dream. It's my dream. When literally you would be destroying your husband's dream, which is to live the life that you all currently have. How fucking selfish of you, you undermining bitch. Because how come you couldn't facilitate your dream all this time back years ago, before we already basically got roots and are in a comfortable life and fucking tax bracket? How stupid is this? It was very, very selfish. Hell, and again, the decision that he made up with the plan to go to London was all being done it was a spur of the moment, but again, it was done at the fact of him wanting to spend time with his family altogether. And even while this was happening, they were in a car being driven by his son, who essentially was like new to driving, and this motherfucker like got in an accident. Just like he was so quick to just talk down to Mark Wahlberg and him being a dad and whatnot. And they're like, you're old man dad, you don't know things. And then he hit a car. And it's like, what? And he was like, okay, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go to London. And it's like, you're not going to jail, you fucking idiot. It's like, nah, we gotta do an insurance claim because you're stupid and you're not paying fucking attention. It's like, because you're so busy talking shit to your father, who clearly knows more than you. And we've already proven before in the first movie that this man is far above the rest of you in terms of experience in life. He has traveled the world murdering people, as well as shown multiple times that he not only is hip, but he's capable of doing way more than they give him credit for. Let's not forget, in the first movie, the son was taken back just because they went to a freaking, laser tag. He was like, Ryan, I didn't think you actually were good. And why wouldn't I be? I was young before. And he's like, what are you talking about? And it's like, we don't talk and get along because you people immediately assume that I'm not someone to get along with, which again is a crazy way to look at your dad. Like, that's a crazy way to look at your dad, especially after finding out later that this man was a goddamn super spy. Well, not super spy, assassin. Then you still talk to him the way that you talk to him because, oh, dad, dumb, just incredibly dumb. So the movie itself ends on what I thought was like the best note that it could end on, because it was Mark Wahlberg and Jon Snow talking. as brothers and him trying to actually mend their relationship. Yep, Jon Snow was in jail. He was definitely in jail. But I thought it was great because Mark Wahlberg was saying throughout the movie, he was like, he's my brother. I gotta try to talk to him, when literally the whole family was basically on the mindset of like, you're just gonna kill him, right? So we could be done with it. Because it was him doing what he was doing was inconveniencing their life, but we're not understanding exactly how life-shattering it is for Mark Wahlberg to understand. This is someone who my dad kept in the shadows, as well as like just away from me, and I did not know he was going through what he was going through. Even for Mark Wahlberg to say in the movie, if I would have known you were my brother, I would have gotten you. I would have came and got you. And you know I would have. But I did not know. And I'm sorry about that. But I'm willing to fix this relationship. And then possibly like the best line in the movie when Mark Wahlberg's talking to him. And he was like, right now you're talking to the dad, the guy that has a family, that has a loving wife, and is great, and is trying to talk to you like a brother. What you don't want is the killer to come out. It was like, because if he comes out, there ain't gonna be no more talking. Like, you're just gonna die. And I don't want that, because I am still me. And that was cool. But ultimately, I gotta say, this movie is a huge wash. It is bad. It's so bad because of how everyone else is. It's not that it's poorly acted or anything like that. It's just really, really badly written. Very, very badly written. This movie has absolutely no positive aspect in it aside from Mark Wahlberg and Jon Snow's acting and, certain characters here and there. But other than that, it's a poorly written movie. It's shot well enough as any type of family movie would be, and I would dare say you could possibly call it a Christmas movie, considering how hard this man is dealing with all this stuff in order to facilitate Christmas. But you just got a bunch of goofy shit going on that just kind of makes no sense. And honestly, it felt as if this was stuff tacked on for no reason other than to just try to make some type of drama and weird dynamic between the family and Mark Wahlberg dealing with this earth-shattering news, mind you. But yeah, ultimately, this was stuff that was kind of tackled already in the first movie. So them backpedaling over it in the sequel without any type of context between the characters, where it's like, we're not building on information we already learned about these characters, but rather than I'm giving them basically brand new personas, and we're not going to dive deeper into these things. We're just going to say, this is what they're about. And then it just so happened to matter, because plot. There's like everything just happened to become Chekhov's gun for some reason, but none of that was necessary. The idea behind the son being a gamer could have easily went into the fact that he was coding and making his own game, and then by that you can interpret that he also was a hacker, or like he says that, well, I learned a bunch of stuff doing this and that, and maybe I could do this and that. And that would have been fine, Then it's like, all right, what's happening is something that's beyond my level, so I'm only able to do so much. And then that's like, well, that's what you're able to do is good enough. You could have used that. Again, the sister was just basically the basic white bitch in the first movie, so there's really nothing to build on there. And then from this movie, they're trying to make her seem as if, oh, she's standing on high because she's doing eco-friendly shit. You're dumb. You're really dumb. Hell, the son had access to all of the grandfather's money and everything that he owned and all of his funds and shit like that, and he sent it all to Greenpeace in order to make his sister happy because eco-friendly shit. And my brain immediately was like, you have any idea how many people are suffering in the world that you could have helped out by just having that go to random fucking low-income bank accounts or some shit like that? That was like, just off the rip, I was like, hell, you could have sent it to a personal bank account and then did something like that to where you're able to help out a bunch of people who are needing it. But you sent it to a fucking organization. Just an organization. All right. It's like an organization that gets donations and shit like that all the time. All right. And it's like, well, dude, who's paying for all the shit that your family has to go through? And I was like, yeah, you might be okay, but it's not as if you can't be better. But, it's like, oh, this is selfless. Him doing that is selfless. And it's like, is it? It seems rather stupid than anything. And it's like, this is This is the kind of goofy shit that you would see straight out of like the late 90s movies, like shit like Jingle All the Way and whatnot, which is a it's a bad Christmas movie, but Sinbad is amazing, and so he makes it so much better. But that's a bad Christmas movie. But again, much like with this one, you have a dad willing to go like just do everything for his kid, who essentially can't understand just how terrible it is to be an adult when you have money and responsibilities and shit. But for some reason, these movies are written to where a dad who's just being a typical provider is a horrible person, unless he's damn near killing himself to just get you something that's incredibly simplistic and materialistic, which he could provide for you at any point in time. But oh no, like you didn't do this one thing this one time, then the Christmas is ruined. We probably need a divorce. How dare you? Oh man, Jingle All the Way. I have that movie, but good Lord. I watch it every Christmas, but I just hate the people. Like, oh my God, when the mom goes, "God damn you, Howard!" Like, what? Like, are you serious? It's like this man is working to provide for this beautiful home. The son had freaking comic book characters on his walls. They were like bigger than him. His room was immaculate. It was beautiful. And all of this provided by Arnold Schwarzenegger. And then he just isn't able to make like a fucking karate tournament or something like that. And it's like, oh no, you're a monster. It's like, bitch, are you serious? Why do they not make the wives in these movies understand, like actual wives, like good wives? They make them terrible people that should not be married to these angels of human beings. But whatever. How far be it from a dad to not understand the complexities behind a child's favorite toy and action figure. Why would he? I have to work. Like, I got a job, bitch. When I come home, they don't have cartoons on anymore. They don't play cartoons when I come home. Not anymore. Oh, man. But yeah, the movie basically ran like that. And the problem with that mindset is that type of movie structure is basically dumb. It's dumb now. It's incredibly dumb now because of how fake these families feel, think, and act. Fuck, having Mark Wahlberg's life be uprooted was a situation that led to the daughter, like the son talking back to Mark Wahlberg about like, yet again, you did this because of you. And he was like, it's not my fault. Like, I didn't even know the guy existed. And he was just like, I'm dealing with this earth-shattering news. And then the daughter gets up and she's like, well, maybe you should understand the fact that yet again, because a year passed, we're suffering. And then she said, and like, she sits down next to her brother who looks at her and goes, thank you. Like, yeah, like, thanks for explaining the bitchery that we all got going on right now because we're dealing with shit. Because that apparently is the issue with like suburban people and whatnot. It's like as soon as an inconvenience pops up or happens, their world is destroyed. And it's horrible when you write people who are like that, to where it's like, oh no, like in the wild, these people are fucking dead because they just suck. It's like they just suck all around. They just suck. They're horrible people. And it's like if it wasn't for you, they'd be dead. But none of them realize that because they're comfortable in their ignorance. And that's sad. And that's really sad because I've lived in the suburbs before. There's smart people out there. There's great families. There's great dynamics. Why isn't it that you couldn't make a movie where the family itself is just trying to spend Christmas? Then this curmudgeon happens. And now we're dealing with the fact that, hey, they learned a couple of things from Mark Wahlberg. Maybe that could have been the aspect towards the son being interested in hacking, is because Mark Wahlberg showed him some tricks and he was like, I didn't think he would take on to the shit like this, but he did. And now you went above and beyond the small little things that I've shown you, because I just thought there was a way for us to connect. Oh well, hell, they was even able to kind of incorporate something like that with his youngest son by having him be interested in parkour. But they only did that because the daughter's boyfriend could do parkour. But then he started to talk to Mark Wahlberg as if he knew how to be a fucking dad when he was a boyfriend. And it was so annoying. And it's like, why wouldn't you just punch someone in the face like this? Your kid should be free. How the fuck you gonna tell me how to raise my kid? How the fuck could you possibly think that you have any right to tell me how to raise my kid? I'll kill you. Like that was my immediate thought upon hearing that line. And then I went, someone wrote this. Someone wrote this because they thought that was an appropriate thing for this person to say. You don't know me, I don't know you, and my kid wants to copy you doing something that's insanely dangerous if you don't know how to prepare or train for it. Parkour is dangerous, but if you're able to train, then you know how to roll, you know how to jump, you know exactly, like, your body is fit enough so where even if you do fall, you're able to get the fuck back up. This is a child. This is a child copying some shit he just saw you do. Yeah, no, he's not able to just jump off this tree or some shit like that. Yeah, he can run around if he wants to, but you're trying to make him do dangerous, goofy shit. And the first attempt he does at seeing the shit and trying to copy it, he falls and hurts himself. And the boyfriend's like, no, this is good. This is good. And it's like, dude, what the fuck? And again, because Mark Wahlberg's a sweetheart in this movie, he sat there and was like, well, the boyfriend doesn't speak with his dad because they don't get along because he doesn't appreciate or like the things that he does. And he's overbearing and whatnot. And Mark Wahlberg just went, dude, call your dad. He's like, the reason he's like that is because he loves you. It's like, you're too stupid to realize it. Because you're stupid. You're just a dumb kid like my dumb kids. And that's all. That's all that it was. And then it turns out, guess what? He called his dad, and that's exactly what it was. So, I don't understand why they wrote Mark Wahlberg to be such an amazing dad in these movies if they were just gonna have every other character around him just be the epitome of shit. Hell, Jon Snow was just so unforgiving and unbelievably unlikable in this movie as a brother that when the movie ended and they actually reconciled and they got along, I was like, this should have been the fucking movie. I like this. The family was gone, which was even great. that was so much better. But it's like he came to see him in jail and they were just able to talk because it wasn't like long ago. They were friends. It's just that he didn't know he was his brother. And so it was like, yeah, he was like, dude, we're family. Like, whether you like it or not, we are family. It's just you tried to kill me. But I can get over that because, again, we're family. And I'm just the greatest dad ever. Oh, man. Just... yeah, I've been talking about this for too long. So I'm going to end this here. Yeah, this is an impromptu review, but realistically more so of a rant. But, yeah, this was a movie that I wish they didn't have made. And if anything, I wish they would have made it better and improved on a lot of the issues that the first movie had. The first movie is a very forgettable, uninteresting movie after the initial concept because of how ridiculous the family is throughout the entire thing. And then just the initial setup itself was just so bland and boring and by the books. But I really thought that this movie would improve on all that because it wouldn't have to deal with any of that. It just kind of got it out the way with the first one. But it seemed as if they fell back into all of their old habits rather than improving on newer and better concepts that they could have tackled and introduced and basically would have been a fine addition to this movie if they were trying to instill or extend a franchise. Again, it's one of those things where it's like you look at it and it's like, yeah, you could even say Mark Wahlberg was wasted in this movie, but he's not. He's the only shining beacon in this movie, is that he was such a great character and such a great dad. And the fact that it's like you have no other choice but to kind of look at him in a negative light because the movie goes out of their way to show him in a negative light. Very underwhelming and just not fun and interesting. And you just got every single member of his family doing anything and everything possible, as stupid and lazy as possible, every chance they could get without no type of repercussions or any type of I would say talking down to, realistically, where Mark Wahlberg just kind of allowed and agreed for everything that they had going on, regardless of how stupid those decisions were. And they all were pretty stupid, but essentially because everything worked out in the end, they just kind of like glossed over it. It was fine. But let this man do one thing wrong and everyone wouldn't shut up about it. It was very, very ridiculous. Fuck, he gave the daughter some equipment and then she was like, oh, I'm keeping this. Like, no, you're not. The fuck? And it's like, what type of shit is that to even say in front of your dad, as if he has no control over what you're gonna do or what you can do with some shit that's incredibly dangerous, that you should not have, that you're ill-equipped to have. And realistically, if it wasn't for this scenario and situation, you wouldn't even have it at all. But no. Oh, let's not forget the fucking track coach This dumb bitch, like the mom had a gun taped to her hand, and this bitch basically he got her a purse so she could hide her hand while she has the gun. That way people don't freak out of her having a gun in her hand. And then she just immediately goes full sprint, pulls the gun out of the purse, and just takes off running. They got fucking pictures of her and put it on the news and everything. So stupid, so stupid. Oh man. A funny scene is when he gets when Mark Wahlberg gets drugged, then they're driving while he's like basically under Hypnol. So he got roofied. He was slipped to Mickey, and the funny scene is just him just saying random shit, and that's the only positive I can think of with this movie. I didn't like it. It was a waste. So I wouldn't necessarily call it a Christmas movie, but it technically is far more than Die Hard, if you will. But yeah, this if a damn sure wasn't a good movie. So if you were in the mood of seeing this or thinking about watching this or whatever, I'd skip it. And if anything, watching it once would be enough, and because that's all it's gonna be for me. So I'm gonna end it there. This has been another episode of Fun with Flame. I've been your host, Danieltheflame, and as always, good people, my peoples. Hope you have fun.